All right, we're recording now. Here we go. We're ready. We're going to go live. Let's go live. Let's go live. I believe we're live now. Live. I love it. I love it. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, to our current event show. Basically, where we talk about what's going on in our lives, current events in the news. Everybody's invited to come and join us. If you saw our logo today, I'll explain it because one of our hot topics is going to be about pole dancing and the Olympics, and the rat story of New York. I try to combine it all, and if you actually look at the image, that is AI. That's DALL-E, DALL-E, version of dogs watching rats pole dance. I don't know why I came up with that, but that's how it is. Anyway, remember, everything you heard today is an opinion. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the panel. And so, hey, let's start off with anybody. I interrupted you, Wayne, just so we can introduce the show. So what were you talking about?
I've totally forgotten, Jan.
You were watching telly the other day. And you saw
yes, I was watching
Vegas
telly.
shows.
Yeah, I was watching telly the other day, and some shows came up on the counting cars and the pawnbrokers. So they're obviously shows that are done in Vegas. And I was thinking, I don't know how old those shows are, but they're definitely interesting.
Thank you. Our resident expert has spoken, and you're right. That's it. I like that. Yeah, they're definitely that pawnbroker show, and just for those who are not aware of it, it's PAWN, not PORN, as you would think of Las Vegas. You watch those snippets. It's really amazing what people come into that show, they bring. I mean, it is fascinating to me. And, if you don't watch the show, go up to the YouTube channel, because the YouTube channel has, really quick snippets of some of the highlights of their show. I love it. I was watching somebody bring in a guitar that Elvis Presley had. Somebody they found this thing in their grandfather's war chest, something yet it was a gold bar that it was from a shipwreck, and it was worth a fortune, and the guy didn't know he had it, so yeah, it's cool.
But I tell you,
I've been in that
across the street, the barbecue place that they bought isn't that good,
Remember, everything you heard today is an opinion, and and if anybody knows about food, it's everybody on this panel. I will tell you that right now. So that's it. And with a name like Baker, you would think you'd know all about baked goods. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I consult with Publix now and again. So, yeah.
Anyway, you said to me before the show started, let's talk about Disney. So let's talk about Disney. What did you want to say? Did you go to one of the new rides?
No, I want to talk about the wonderful governor of the state of Florida's jihad against the Disney World for their former CEO saying, "Hey, I don't say gay law." All right, and it's passed, and it's fine, but Disney today filed a lawsuit against the state of Florida.
Well, actually, they filed it against Ron DeSantis for abusing his government power, and the 5 members of the board that Ron DeSantis' friends. All these guys are going down. There's no doubt about it. And if you thought that, to get a little political here, if you thought that Ron DeSantis might be a good candidate for president, those thoughts are over. Nobody in their right mind is going to want to see a man who is sued by Disney for controlling the government against the biggest employer of the state. Nobody.
Yeah.
The guy's career is now basically, You know, it's going to wind down as his governor. There are going
I'm
to be
an
a lot of
independent
problems.
voter, Jan. I'm an independent voter. I've been in the state of Florida for 28 years, and I'm pissed off.
Yeah. All I can say is fuck around with Mickey Mouse. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I
Don't
mean, Mickey
mess with
Mouse,
the
you know,
mouse.
don't do it. Don't do it, baby. Don't do it. And if I could have given him any advice, which I wouldn't have given him any advice, even if I could have, because I personally don't like the guy. I don't like what he stands for. Anybody who wants to ban books, no matter what the book is,
Yeah,
I find that very, very offensive. And
I
these
agree.
people, you know, these people that do that, or they don't say gay. I mean, what does it hurt people? I mean,
Right.
Howard Stern wanted to have, what's that guy, Ted Nugent, because Ted
Yeah,
Nugent did, you know, with the Bud Light thing, and by the way, that Bud Light campaign, the two guys that were responsible for putting the transgender guys on the beer can, their careers are on hold at this very moment in time. But the exposure that Budweiser is getting right now on social media and the regular media, and I mean, it's off the hook, and it's positive. It's all basically positive media.
yeah.
So
They're
it's
selling
you
more
know,
beer than ever. Go ahead, create
yeah, who would have
great
thought?
divisive crowd.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, I mean, so basically, what I would say is that, you know, I was only hoping that they would, you know, that Disney would actually have that new attraction, the Disney Prison, where you can, you know, go in and be a prisoner for a day or so, like that, and be treated,
no, they
you
won't.
know, I
No,
mean,
they won't.
with the handcuffs, with the hand be,
maybe Disney, Hong Kong.
yeah, what would be cartoon handcuffs? I don't know. You know, what would it be like? Would the bars be bending? You know, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
no,
see what happens.
and it's kind of sad because they're the largest employer in the state of Florida, and they own probably a third of Florida as far as real estate. And then, you get a guy, you know, an elected official, duly elected official, smacking down, on stuff it shouldn't be.
Well, Disney is like laughter to me, okay? So Disney is like laughter, and I'll explain it to what I mean. Working for Disney is like laughter. You know, of all the emotions, you can't force anybody to laugh. You can't. You can't force
Listen,
anybody to laugh.
I was an FOH guy for Disney for 2 years. Ken, you know this. You know how it is. You run the show file. If you stray off the show file, you're busted.
Well, because everything's animatronics over there.
No, I'm talking about Journey. I'm talking about, I mean, come on. Yeah,
No,
bad
I don't know.
stuff.
Come on.
Well, no, at Epcot, I'm sitting there with the CL5, and if I stray beyond my show file, there's going to be a guy with a big button, on his shoulder saying, "Mr. Baker, can I talk to you about your performance today?"
Well, it's always a losing hand when you draw to an inside straight. That's all I could say. The odds are against you. But no, seriously, to go back to my thought process, not that your thought process is not any good, because I'm sure some people think, you're brilliant in a lot of different ways. But no, it's like laughter. You can't force anybody to laugh, and you can't force anybody to go work for Disney, and so it's the same thing. So you got 75,000 people working for Disney. They've got families. So if you really do the math, there's got to be, from 75,000 with all the family members, let's just figure each one has two members in their
Quarter of a
family.
million.
Yeah. And that's, then all of a sudden you're voting, and, you're not winning if you're going against the number one employer of the state. Plus, who doesn't want to go to Disneyland? Everybody wants to go to Disneyland, you know? It's crazy. Who in this room does not want to go to Disneyland?
Now, not Disneyland, Disney World.
Well, screw Disney World. Forget it. Yeah, it's Disneyland. That's it. I didn't know the
How
difference
Mickey
except
Mouse
in the
is.
name. By the way, did you hear this, Greg? That that the day that they started hassling Disney over the "Don't Say Gay" thing, and Ron DeSantis came out and said that he wanted to build a prison there. Disney the next day, Bob Iger made the announcement they're going to have the biggest gay life parade.
Yeah, I
in
know.
the
it's
history of the
Disneyland.
planet in
Yeah.
Anaheim. So, the
Yeah.
Disneyland in Anaheim. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I
let's
mean-
move on. Unless anybody else has anything
Thank
to say
you.
about Disney.
I think it's isn't it political suicide to do what DeSantis is doing to Disney? I mean, what?
I think
agree
it's
with
political
you, sir.
suicide. He's just, burning books is suicide. Everything he's done right now. And the funniest thing is that Donald Trump put out a commercial in Florida, and it basically destroys him because Donald Trump says, look, he's got Ron DeSantis thanking him for letting him, win the governorship. If it wasn't for you, I would never have won the governorship. And now Donald Trump takes this and uses it as commercial against him. Who bites the hand that feeds you? And now this just feeds into the Disney thing that he's biting the hand that feeds him. And so it's and that's why the logos today on the show is dogs. You don't bite the
All right.
dog.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving on, I just want to say one more thing, that I got started with Soundbroker thanks to Disney. If it wasn't for Disney, I don't know what I'd be doing today. So,
Right.
I
And
could be
you
a
and
famous
Peter are
comedian.
back with Disney.
I could have been a famous comedian instead of, the Soundbroker. Anyway,
So, Jan, how many times have you met Mickey Mouse? And
I've met Mickey Mouse many, many, many times. As a matter of fact, at one point in my life, my ex-wife and I got engaged at Disneyland, and that's a great story. If you've ever been to Disneyland, the cable cars go through the Matterhorn. Go through the where the beast. And so
Not anymore.
Anyway, so basically we were in the cable car. We get in there and I get down on my knees in the cable car to propose. And as I get down on my knees to propose, we go through the tunnel and there's and she couldn't hear what I said, So, unfortunately, I didn't learn a lesson from that. That should have been a sign to stop, but I didn't. And 8 years later, what the hell? I'm a free man in Paris. So there you have it. So
Hey, Ken,
I just want to say
can
one
I
thing.
interrupt a second, Jan? Hey, Ken.
Why not?
Robert Scoville's in your house this week.
You mean in Vegas?
No, are you in Vegas? No.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, he's in your
no,
house.
I'm not in Vegas
You're
now.
the
I thought you
second
were in
story,
Nashville.
man. That's it.
I'm sorry.
So lock up all your jewelry. Make sure it's all in the safe when he comes.
Wait, where's Robert this week? What are you saying, Greg?
No, he's in Nashville this week.
Oh yeah. I'm not the Nashville guy. I'm the LA and Vegas guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
My apologies, and my
All good.
apologies to you, Jen.
Now, did you
for
ever mix Harry Belafonte?
Yep,
Yes,
I did.
Well,
Both of us.
96 years old, man. May he rest in peace.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
1980,
they-
I did monitors for him, and it was really fun. He was a good guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you
I
seem
did
like a
him
great
at the
guy.
Columbus Agora, Ken. And he was extraordinary. I mean, he just came in and said, just give me 3 mics. I'll work them, no problem. And I went, holy shit. Okay.
No, I never had the opportunity.
Yeah, I tell you, David, I mean, I'm sure golly, well, He was amazing.
He did a multiple night engagement at the Sands in Atlantic City when I worked there, and I seem to remember one of the nights was New Year's Eve. I'm not sure what year, maybe
Lord.
1981 or so. And he had a sound guy with him, a guy that I still try to keep in touch with now.
What's his name?
Bob Burnham. Do you know Bob Burnham?
Oh, okay. Yeah, Burnham. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so, and he was super cool, and he just took over my front of house mix position, which was a PM 2000, and then we set me up with something, a 916 or something on stage for monitors, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Wow, 916. That's dating yourself, Kenny. That's dating yourself.
There's
Yeah.
not a
Anyway,
flying around.
so for you guys out there that are looking for a new job, Netflix is looking for a creative director. And that, I just wanted to say that is a cool gig if you can get it. So,
Yeah.
Okay,
Why haven't you applied?
I'm done. I'm done with the work career. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I love it. I love doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And I've created a utopia for myself and for Tina. This is a great life we've got. And everything's going well. So, and there's no end in sight, and that's what I like about it. It's I love what I'm doing. We don't deal with people that we don't want to deal with anymore, and we're building up this great system right now of the yellow pages of our industry for equipment, and it's growing and growing and growing, and it's a good thing. Anyway, does anybody share their password with Netflix? Is anybody doing that? Does anybody understand what's going on with that?
I think I might share it with my son. No, I don't share it with my son because he said he has his own account. I might share it with somebody, maybe my sister, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Well, actually, I just read an article about Lifehacker, and basically all you got to do is log in your login. I forgot exactly how to do it, but it's a simple fix to get around that you could still share your password. So.
Yeah, and that's very important.
Do a Google search.
Where you're at, sir.
Well, Netflix is here in Thailand. I have a Netflix account, and it works really well. The interesting thing is that when I use the VPN, I get American television. When I don't use the UPN, I get the VPN. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I get the Thai. And it's really good because the Netflix Thailand, they have all of the subtitles in Thai. So, some of them, they have the audio version in Thai. And so we switch off, Bo and I. One movie we'll watch in Thai with English subtitles, and then the next movie we'll watch in English with Thai subtitles.
Sounds like a well thought out plan.
It is. Sometimes I like to watch the subtitles because sometimes sometimes I have a hard time hearing the words. It just seems because the way the TV speakers are made, they're behind the TV and it muffles it a little bit.
More than that, movies are notorious now having horrible audio on them.
Well, if you have a proper system, if you have an Atmos system, it will be great. But if you don't, then it's
I have a consolation, Ken.
There you go.
I tell you, yeah.
I've watched a lot of Jamaican movies that were in English with English subtitles because the accent is so thick. If you can speak English all your life and not understand a word they're saying,
That's
Plus,
great.
they're always smoking pot. Yeah, man. This is good. Whatever.
Where you are going? No, man. You're not
I'm gonna have to kill you, man. I'm gonna have to kill you, man. But before I do,
you may go and take your life like blood clot Ross, man.
Yeah, ganja. The ganja.
Hey, David, if you hear Ken's voice on his microphone, that's the one that you want.
Oh, well, it's my voice. It's the voice, not the microphone.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yo, hello. Why does my voice sound good, Greg?
Never have a voiceover career.
Yeah, he's got a good voiceover career, that's for sure.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Great voice.
See you on The Simpsons soon, Ken.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, there's the other Ken. He showed up.
Oh Lord.
That's the guy who has Robert Scoble in his city.
There you go. And Scoville, I guess he's doing what, Kenny Chesney, right?
Yeah.
That's the act that Scoville's doing, right? And
Yeah.
so isn't he out of Nashville?
I think he's flying in and out of Phoenix, isn't he?
No.
Well, Scoble
Scoble
lives in Phoenix. Yeah, lives in Phoenix area.
Chesney out of Nashville?
Yes.
Yeah. He was in Nashville last night. Him, Wilcox, and Dancer got together. I didn't see any Homeland Security reports, but I'm sure things were tipped.
Doesn't Robert run marathons?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of
I would love
extreme
to
physical things.
I would love to get his opinion on what happened with that woman who was running in the marathon, and and for some reason she hurt her leg or something like that. So she decided that she would take a car ride, and then she gets to the end. And, she reported that she reported that she had to get, she hurt her leg and she was going to get in the car, and she wouldn't take. But when in the award ceremony, she took the trophy. That's like crazy.
Yep. Well, come in on Friday in the back lounge, dude.
Well, I don't think
David's
I can.
there.
I'm going to be in Krabby, and so I don't think I can make it this week, but we'll see. Krabby's a beautiful city. If you ever get a chance to go see it, go see it.
Where is it?
It's just it's south of Bangkok for about 8 hours, and it's
Right.
north of Phuket by about 3. It's on the coast.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. One thing, speaking of here, I'm going to be going back to Las Vegas shortly for a month, and I've been talking to people.
Wait, what? Whoa, hold on. What did you just say? You're going back to Vegas for a month? What's that all about?
Well, our office building looks like it's going to close escrow. And if it does, then I'm going to come back and clean out the office of what we got left. And then basically I'm planning on doing some things over at the house. So plus I want to get to LA,
Vegas.
so we'll get together.
Oh, how about that?
Right,
Well,
right.
I thought
Vegas.
the office building was all finalized already. Sounds like you have.
Well, it's when you're doing commercial real estate, it takes a longer time than
really?
home.
Okay.
Home could be a month or so. Commercial, because the SBA is involved, usually takes about 3 months, 3 to 4 months.
How about that? So
you
you're
can't
coming
be in a
back
rush.
to USA for a little while, huh?
I can't wait. I got to tell you, I can't wait to start eating processed foods again and chemical lettuce and all that.
Yeah,
all
you
that stuff
gotta
that I
improve
miss
your
so much.
chances of cancer. That's for sure. Yeah,
That's right.
what we do.
By the way, speaking of cancer, they're working on it right now. There's a promising breakthrough right now, and they feel that they will be able to have a vaccine for cancer and heart disease within like the next 10 years.
Well, that's crazy.
And that is crazy. That would be a wonderful thing. But then again, there will be people, of course, that will say, I'm not taking no goddamn vaccine. And,
Welcome to the state of Florida.
That's
but
fine.
that's crazy. I mean, if somebody says, hey, if by the end of this decade, they're saying that they're going to have a cure for cancer and for heart disease right now. And there's an article from the Guardian that we'll throw in the chat. So
Thank you.
guys are
Well,
interested.
that's a wow. Hey, so
Yeah,
David, when do you start over in Beverly Hills, David?
I think it's Saturday.
Oh my. Okay, I start tomorrow.
Really?
So
Our
let's tell
first show
everybody
is
what
on
you're
Saturday.
doing. Let's tell everybody what you're doing. If I might mention Milken. He was a famous, and he probably still is a famous stock entrepreneur.
He's known as the junk bond junkie.
Yes.
And tell us about what you guys are doing for him.
It's called Milk and Global, but David knows way more about it, what it is, than I do.
Wait, let's see. April. When do I start?
David,
Hey, look, it's Kurt. Hi, Kurt. You're in the dark.
We started 25 minutes ago.
No, I start
Welcome.
Saturday. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, my first show is Saturday, so I guess I have a little bit longer gig.
I have a 2-day setup, Saturday and Sunday, and the first show's Monday.
Wow, good for you. I have a 2-day setup. My first show is Saturday.
Wow. Okay. So
I'll
it's
see you
the Milton
Saturday.
Conference. It's Beverly Hills, the Beverly Hilton Hotel. They come from all over the world to speak finance, to various categories, to some big money people. It's a big deal. It's really high prestige. A lot of money walking around that hotel.
So for all you second story guys out there, what's the address over there? What's the address? Yeah.
It's ground floor. nothing
Ground floor.
on there. But it's
So
a big deal.
speaking-
Last year they had the Beach Boys playing, and they had David Foster.
This year,
This year.
Diana Ross.
Diana Ross, really? Wow, cool.
That's she's I think she's she's so talented. I mean when I was a kid I had won some sort of contest for selling magazines or something like that, and they gave me a 45 record of the Supremes. You Can't Hurry Love.
That's the reason why you were a rep, Jan.
Yeah, I wore that. I wore it out, man. I wore it out. So another guy with a lot of money, this guy Elon Musk. Did anybody see the SpaceX thing go up?
And blow up? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking about it, and I said it's like Edison, because a lot of people think of him like Edison, and the reality is that when Edison was asked, "How did you fail 10,000 times while inventing the light bulb?" and Edison said, "Well, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I learned 10,000 ways it didn't work." But so Elon Musk has got like 999 million to go before he perfects this rocket ship. But I guess the people in Florida are complaining about it now because it created all sorts of chaos, and there's like a crater in the ground. Greg, what do you know about it?
No, it's not in Florida. It's in Texas. Okay, South Texas, at space. The Starship base, whatever they call it. But they're calling it a win because it didn't blow up the pad. It didn't, hey,
It wasn't manned. It wasn't manned. There weren't people on it,
Right.
so it wasn't any
They hit the red
lives
button, right,
lost.
Ken? Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah,
thing
that's
is,
what I
the
heard.
rocket took off successfully. It didn't separate. So part of the test was 100% success, and the part they really cared about was a success.
Right.
So it's
Right.
just moving on.
They have launched. Doesn't what's the name of the company? SpaceX. Doesn't SpaceX launch numerous rockets?
Every week here, Ken.
Right. So this
week.
failure or this lack of success is nothing compared to
No.
the number of successes they've had, if you ask me.
Right. I mean,
And we did ask you, so thank you.
It's my
did
opinion,
I
man.
mean-
It's my opinion.
We did ask you.
yeah,
We did ask
it's
you.
all opinions, as Jen says.
Right.
Yeah. But I tell you, I can't. I mix for NASA, but I can't get into SpaceX because
Well, you will. Just hang in there. I heard on great authority that they're looking for another human mic stand, and you are the one. I've submitted your name
Oh well, thank you very much, sir.
on Twitter next to your blue check mark. I did that. I did that for you. So I got to tell you, does anybody think Twitter's going to be around next year at this time?
No,
That rocket was what's an analogy for Twitter, right? It's Elon Musk had Twitter, and Elon Musk has SpaceX, and that rocket was just like Twitter. It's going to blow up.
Yeah, and Tesla, the stock is plunging right now.
No, really?
Yeah,
My
his
fortune is becoming not a fortune. Really?
The Tesla stock plunged this week a lot. I guess it's because what he has to sell Tesla stock to make up for the loss that he's got over at Twitter, and not only that, he had to drop the price of the Tesla car, and he's dropped, and so the profits aren't as great anymore over there, and so that seems to what's happening. But I'm not an expert.
Hey, Kurt, I see you online. I see Mr. Gamble is selling DCXs for $120K a pair. Goodbye or no?
I haven't seen that. He's had a couple for a while, but yeah, I mean,
We're talking Gamble consoles, Jan.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm not going to jump on that. I love to have one.
Yeah, but those are not the consoles that Kurt's using. Kurt's using the analog boards, and
Still analog, just digitally controlled. But it's a great desk. It's just not. No one's going to mix on it. At least somebody will use my EXs.
Why will no one work on it? Is it clunky?
There's no surface. It's all off of a laptop.
Oh, it's a laptop. Oh, it's a Bob Lentini style, huh?
yeah, they were experimenting, but they haven't been able to get a textile surface to do what they
Tactile,
wanted to
tactile.
do.
Want one.
Tactile, yeah.
No, Gamble didn't want one. He said you should mix on a laptop.
Yeah. That's he was listening to Bob Lentini, I bet.
Yeah, Lentini wrote the some of the software, did the graphic design.
Yeah, there you go.
If somebody redid it, it could be a really cool thing, but you need a surface. No one is going to mix on a laptop these days. But back then, there weren't surfaces. So at that point in time, it was an accurate statement.
Well, so do people that use the Waves console or whatever the Waves thing is called? Do they typically use a laptop or a screen? Or do they use
No.
actual
The Wave
faders?
the way has a control surface.
Yeah, they use some kind of MIDI or control surface, right? But
Right.
what I'm wondering is, you don't have to use that control surface. Do a lot of people that use that Waves thing use laptops or no?
I think it's a hybrid.
Laptop is part of the brains of it, but the reality is they use a surface to mix.
Well, or an iPad or something with a graphic interface that you can, touch. I mean, if Jim would let someone, I'm sure there are people now who could build a surface for the DCX that would be great and update the software. I mean, it's running on really old Windows at this point because of the era that it was built in. But the hardware and the way it functions are still genius. It's just it needs a modern interface, and there's no one to do it.
And is Jim against that concept?
I think it might
I
depend
think
on
that if
who
Jim
the
got
job.
some young interns that were working in the local scene of bands, then he could get one of the new guys that he could train them just to work with the laptop at first, and then that could expand his world. But I don't think he knows any young people like that, and he's not attracting any young people like that. I guess that could be a problem for our industry in regards to that. But what's the story on artificial intelligence in what we're doing? Is Ken Porter still in the room? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are you? I mean, because of where you are with your company, I'm sure a lot of people come to you with the latest and the greatest of innovations, and artificial intelligence seems to be everywhere right now.
Well, they're talking about several people are heading toward trying to come up with artificial mixing, intelligent mixing, smart consoles, sees what's on, can figure out what's on stage and do the appropriate gain structure and what tuning and all that stuff for it.
Yeah. Hit a button, drums. Hit a button, guitar. Hit a button.
Well, it's more than that. Did you see what happened with Drake and Weeknd? How they came out with an artificial intelligence song? It seemed to be racing up the
Coachella.
charts.
Yeah. It was not received well, sir.
Well, it was received well by the public, but not by the publishers, and not by the artists, because who gets the money, and I guess that's what that comes down to. Who gets the money, by the way? And so that is an interesting thing. By the way, because it's artificial intelligence, copyright and trademarks are not applicable for that. So a guy wrote this book, right? A guy wrote this book and found out that he couldn't get the copyright on the photos. And a lot of the photos that artificial intelligence is creating is stolen from the Getty, from
Yep,
actual.
I know, and they're suing.
photos,
Getty is suing them. Yeah. Listen, I've gone with Chat GPT and said, give me a song with Chris Slade as the drummer, Don Airy as a keyboard player, and Gary Moore as the lead guitar player, and Steven Tyler as a vocalist. Lo and behold, I got it. And it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean that you can do that. I mean, there like in the art world, a German artist had rejected an award from a prestigious international photography competition after revealing that his submission was generated by artificial intelligence. The guy's name was Boris Elgidison, and he won the creative open category at this year's Sony's World Photography Award, but he had to give it back because it wasn't his work. It was artificial intelligence. But it's that good now. It's that good, if you look at this, speaking of that good, if you look at this week's logo for the show, that was created by Dolly, and it's a bunch of dogs. I loved it because it's really like dog buttholes. That's not the way I described what I wanted. What I described is I wanted dogs. I wanted dogs looking at rats pole dancing.
Yeah.
And if you look at the logo, you'll see I got the dogs looking, but that's funny because it only shows the dogs' assholes, and they're all puckered up, by the way. I don't know why, and looking at a pole and the rats are not there.
You're an amazing person and extraordinary, but I tell you what, that wasn't your best work.
Oh, I think it's great. I look at it and I love it. I love that picture. It's just, it's so expressive of what it is because, I want to talk about pole dancing. And I also want to talk about the story about the rats in New York. Have you heard about what's going on in New York with the rats?
Are they taking over yet?
Oh, man, from my understanding, they really are the four-legged kind, not the two-legged kind. The two-legged kind are being replaced by the four-legged kind rats there in New York.
Don't we have a rat czar in New York now?
Yeah, they got a rat czar. They got a rat czar because people are taking craps and all of a sudden the rats are popping out of the toilet. That is a freaky thing, and it seems like the rats in New York, they've got an attitude too, like, hey, you, It's like, this pizza, this is deep dish. I don't want no deep dish pizza. Give me New York pizza here, that kind of stuff.
That's what the rat says, huh?
Yeah, that's the rats,
So coming back to AI questions, have you seen the big issue going on right now is papers in college and in high school of people writing papers and not, through AI and not really doing the work?
I
could get a doctor.
I have seen that myself, sir. And I tell you what, I like AI because it really buffed up my resume.
Oh yeah, it's like they have what right now people are really afraid of it, and for good reason. This GPT-4 now is astronomically intelligent. And I guess that's why it's called artificial intelligence. But the reality is that it could take over the world. I mean, it really could. There's been some geopolitical stuff done through this, and they did a mock, and it was launching attacks on. It's like Starlink from not Starlink. What's that?
From Terminator. You're right on.
Yeah, it wasn't called Starlink. It was called something else. Anybody remember what it was called? Starlink is Elon Musk thing, by the way.
What was it called? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Somebody's got to remember it. Whatever it is, Galaxy Link. Anyway, it was Link something. And anybody know? Anybody in the room? Once, twice? We'll come back. Somebody will do the research. Tina's Googling like crazy already. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this is scary. And so they have to have some controls over artificial intelligence. Otherwise it will take over the world, because the weakest link in artificial intelligence is the human being.
If they're in the picture.
Thank you.
If they're in the picture.
All right,
If
so
they're in the picture.
I gotta go. Nice to see everybody.
David,
Have a
good
great
to
week,
see
David.
you. Have a good gig.
See you,
All
see you Saturday, David. What's your call time?
I don't know, 9, 10. I'm on a need to know basis. I'll know on.
Okay. All right. I'll see you there, man. Have a good one.
All right, well, just tell everybody in the room that the Fed say that there's not going to be a recession right now. Okay, so let them know.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I'm heading off to Genghis Khan for some Chinese food.
Very good. Well, that's very cool. Be careful out there.
So goodbye, everybody.
All right.
All right,
Take care.
take care,
Say hi to
Dave.
Myrna.
See you Saturday, Kenny.
So, Greg, why
Yes,
do you
sir.
need a resume nowadays?
huh? I'm
Why
sorry.
do you need a resume? He wanted to know why you need a resume.
Yeah, I mean, people know me, but I mean, come on. I had to.
And whenever you're
do
applying for a job,
resume.
they still ask for a resume, though, Ken.
Yep.
Unless you're like referred for a job. If you're referred for a job, that's one thing. But if you are like just out and out applying for something that you see advertised or you heard about somewhere, they're all asking for a resume. I don't get it.
Yeah. I
AI
mean,
is creating resumes that you can do like what? Like weld and rocket science, or what are you doing?
no. I mixed Artemis 1, the rocket launch, and I had to put a resume in. And yes,
Well, what did the resume
call
say?
Night Bob, call Scoville, call Jan, call Kurt, call Ken. Come on, I've done, the Albert. 4
Been
times
there
in
and
my
done that, right? Been there
You know,
and done
the interesting thing is what I have found these days, and I've known this for a long time, but I'll share this with you, is that when somebody wants you to do something, they will make it easy for you to get there. In other words, I just did a job with Fox Entertainment, okay, and I had something that they needed, and they went through big hoops for me to be able to be their preferred vendor on this. Whereas, because they wanted me and they walked me through their financial department. I mean, it was kind of interesting how it worked, but when somebody wants you, they will go out of their way to get you, no matter whether you have a resume or you don't have a resume. It doesn't really matter. They'll tell you what they want on the resume.
One of the first signs that you're not going to get the gig is that they're asking for a resume, right?
Well, no.
What you're
they
trying to
asked
say,
for
Jan?
the resume.
Yes.
And then,
Did they
Ken,
fire
the
Tucker
next
just for
thing
you,
was-
Jan?
Huh?
Say again?
Did they fire Tucker just for you?
I would hope they did. So let's talk about that now that you brought it up, man. Could you believe it? What's going on there? Tucker out like, I mean, it just boom, the number one guy on their show, on their airwaves, he is gone. But I don't think he's gone. And this is the craziest thing. I don't think he's gone because of what he did with the election. I think he's gone because of the sexual abuse. And all of a sudden now it's coming out that this guy is like, a neo-Nazi,
Yeah.
Sexual abuse. I didn't heard that related to him at all. Really?
Yeah, he's like harassment and all this other stuff that's going on. And then, he was bad rapping Murdoch. That's his name, Rupert
Murdoch. Yes.
Yeah, they got him on tape bad mouthing Rupert Murdoch, and I think that was the final
That'll
straw.
get you fired. That'll get you fired.
I mean, shit.
Yeah.
They
Don't
also fired the producer too.
don't tick off the boss. What do you think up there, Wade, about all this?
I don't think our resume is going to help him any.
Yeah, I don't think. I think that they're saying that he's going to run for president, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that when all this stuff comes out
No
about
way.
him now, and it's going to come out that there's no chance in hell that this guy is going to have. I mean, Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, all these guys were at the top of the heap of Fox, and they're gone, and nobody even knows what. You have to search for them now.
Right.
And it's going to be the
Make
same
your
thing with
money
this guy.
through divisiveness and then goodbye.
But they're going to put somebody else in that time slot that's, probably going to be worse than he was. But at least they now know that they can't lie, because if they do lie, then they have a penalty that they're going to pay. And I guess it all comes down to the bottom line is the money. Show me the money. And if you're going to give me money and you're not going to be there, and now it's proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that if you lie and you know that you're lying, that you're going to pay a penalty. And Fox is not even finished with the penalty, because now the Smart Dominion case is happening. And now after that, they've got this woman, Abby Grossberg, who's got all the tapes and all the notes. And not only that, she's sharing her notes with this guy. I think his name is Jack Douglas. Is that his name? The lawyer?
No, not Jack Douglas. Jack Douglas is an amazing producer. Okay.
What's the guy? What's the lawyer's name that's doing this thing now with the for the Justice Department?
I don't know, but it's not Jack Douglas.
Maybe it's Jack shit. I don't know. He doesn't know Jack shit, but he's there. That's what it is. Or is it Jack Schmidt with But they've got all of these people now. I mean, this is going to be. You're going to see Fonnie Lewis come out, Fonnie Willis come out in Georgia. You're going to see more lawsuits out of New York with this guy, with the district attorney there, the Alvin, whatever his name is. All of a sudden, I got mental block on all these guys. Alvin Bragg, and now all of this stuff is going on with E. Jean Carroll. Are you guys following this? It's like sexploitation at its finest. It's like, whoa, wow. It's titillating stuff, literally.
Yeah,
titillating stuff.
How do you find time to be with Bo?
Well, I watched this with Bo, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's it, Anyway, it's okay. It's all right. Relationship between Bo and I is stronger. I've never been in a better relationship in my life than I am with her. And I am very happy about that. Anyway, there's a couple of things more I want to talk about. Did you guys hear about the COVID-sniffing dogs?
No.
I'm not making this up. They've got dogs now that they've trained on, and they're going to come. This could be the way that they are going to prevent COVID from spreading, because what they found is that when you have COVID, before you have any symptoms. In other words, COVID is in your body before you show any symptoms. But they've got these dogs now that these dogs can sniff out and detect infections, and they're using them now in schools. And and the dogs just have to smell the ankles and the feet. And basically, they're now going to start using them in sports arenas, airports, and other public settings. So the COVID sniffing dogs are going to be out there. And I can just see the lawsuits starting to spread from the dogs. But, anyway, that's
I got to tell you, going through customs, you got dogs sniffing for drugs, sniffing for meat, sniffing for vegetables, and now they're going to go ahead and have to sniff for COVID.
Well, it's different dogs. It's going to be a menagerie of dogs at the airport. There you go.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole dog pack. It'll be
How do they train
work on the Tahitian ferry boats? I'll tell you that much.
But how do they train them? How do they train them to know that that's COVID?
Same way they train them for anything, I guess.
Dogs can be really trained.
And they must have a scent. They must have something that they can teach them is the scent that they want, right?
So does that mean they give them put their sniffer around some COVID bugs?
Whatever that is, yeah.
It's the smell of out of work sound guy. That's what they train them to get.
Yeah. Send them to cave with bats in it.
That's it. Or they put them in a computer with artificial intelligence and teach them that way. I don't know. Maybe that's how they do it.
Kurt,
Anyway, listen.
They may catch me. Okay, you know,
All right.
every once and again I get a gig, but yeah.
Hey, I got this email from one of my banks, and I thought it was brilliant what it did, and I want to share it to you because right now you got to protect yourself from phishing. You know, PHIS. It's phishing, but it's PHISHING. And I just want to read this real quick for you, what to do to protect yourself, because I thought it was really great. Don't click on links in unsolicited emails or text. Don't use phone numbers provided in the email or text. Look up the company's number on your own. Don't give out personal information such as password, credit card numbers, bank account numbers, dates of birth, and social security numbers. Don't respond to suspected phishing emails anyway. And also be suspicious of anyone pressing you to act immediately. So don't get involved. And the bonus tip, phone numbers and caller IDs can be faked. So be really careful and don't give out too much information when somebody calls you. Those are just smart tips. There go to protect yourself. All right.
Kurt, can I ask you, are you getting any 2100s?
I have them ordered.
Oh,
If
okay.
that's the answer to your question. Am I getting them eventually?
Yeah. Okay, next year then. We're
No,
talking
better not be.
Jan, we're talking about
I need them pretty soon.
really.
I asked Kurt, where are you, Kurt?
Where am I now?
Yeah.
I'm at this big entertainment complex that's attached to where the Seahawks play in Seattle at the stadium. It's called WAMU Theater. It used to be the bank. Now it's it's too expensive to change the sign, I guess. So they just renamed it Washington Music Theater and kept the sign.
By the way, I'm very impressed with what your governor did about banning assault weapons in the state of Washington. That is more governors need to do that.
There's a gun manufacturer apparently in Eastern Washington that nobody knew about, and they've already filed a suit to try to overturn it. But this is a pretty cool
Jan, tell us what they did. I didn't hear that.
Basically, they banned the assault weapons.
And
They
what
can't
is that?
sell any more of them.
You
Can't
mean
sell.
AR-15s or
There's like
Well,
62
any assault weapon.
52 weapons, I think, or 42 weapons on the list.
Oh,
that
no
you can-
kidding. And they're not allowed to be sold legally in the state of
You
Washington.
have them already, you can still possess them, but you can't buy them. And if you are a retailer or a store that has a stock of them, you can sell them, but you can't sell them to anybody in Washington.
Whoa.
And once they're gone, they're gone. So if you're a gun dealer or something, you can't restock them and just sell them to people in Idaho. You could sell off your existing inventory and that's it.
And so how did this law go into effect? I mean, how did that become a law?
The governor signed it into a law. It was an executive order.
Executive order. Yeah. And so is it fully in effect then?
Effective the second he signed it.
Yeah.
I thought there was some other step that has to happen even after an executive order. No, it's
No,
totally
they've already filed lawsuits, so it'll all get tied up for a while.
Oh yeah, and it's federal, so but it's a statement, and it's a good
exactly.
statement.
And why can't Tennessee do the same thing? Because the Tennesseans are are really upset about the shootings in their schools. And
Well, we happen to have somebody from Tennessee in the room, although he's eating, I think,
he
right
stepped
now.
away. I think he stepped
Oh,
away.
there he is. I see him. He's coming back. He's coming back, and he's speaking.
The bigger issue about that is mental health and the manifesto that the FBI will not let the state release.
Whatever
There's a
that
lot of things
means.
dark on
I
that.
like that. That's very cryptic.
Whose
Well,
manifesto?
Are you running for office, Ken?
They had a manifesto of the shooter.
Which shooter?
Oh,
The shooter at the school here in Nashville at the
That-
the school
Private school?
down in Green Hills.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, right.
What I have to say is it's been really troubling to me where people, pull into the wrong driveway and get shot.
Oh yeah, there were how many of those? 3 or 4 of those kind of
Three.
things happened. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Greg,
Ridiculous.
let me give you my address. Come on over. Really, seriously.
Yeah,
And
I
that
definitely
that
think
was
that-
like there was as if there was a rash of mistaken identity shootings all of a sudden. That in one
don't
week there were
understand.
3 people shot and killed, or shot, I should say.
Well, 2 people killed, 3
Yep.
people shot. Yeah.
And it's just crazy for being in the wrong place accidentally. Not even like in the wrong place because they wanted to, protest something. No, they
Oh,
were just
just-
there by
Or-
mistake.
And the cheerleader-
they
the
they
cheerleader-
wanted to do harm.
The cheerleader went to the wrong car. She went to her friend's car. It was it was the same car.
Who
same
hasn't done
color,
that? Who
same
hasn't done
everything.
that? Right. And she was apologizing to the person she went to by accident, and then she still got shot and killed. Oh my God, just ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. And they already say now there have been more mass shootings this year than ever before. Like just up to this year. At this point, there's been more mass shootings this year alone than there were of all last year.
But God bless the Second Amendment. Oh,
Yeah, you need that Second Amendment. You need that militia. I like, there's this Instagram account called what is her name? I think it's A Girl Has No President, and she points out really cool things about the craziness that's happening in our country right now. And she said something along the lines of, well, the Second Amendment needs this, and the Second Amendment needs that, and it was really sharp. I mean,
yeah.
why can't people just come to their senses? I don't get it.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, the argument that I have heard a lot is that they have to have those guns in case they need to overthrow the U.S. government. to
Of
take
course,
the country back.
we got to have that, man.
If you think that your little hunting rifle and your case of Bud Light is going to do anything against a Abrams fighting,
What's the phrase in the Second Amendment? Is something a well-armed militia or something?
you don't stand a
But-
chance. You're never going to be able to do.
Yeah,
anything.
but that's our right as Americans, is what they're
It's
saying.
absurd
To be a
because-
well-armed militia. It's so great.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I heard a story about this. It was a hypothetical story or something like that, where these group of guys, there's 25 guys, and they were all armed. They were going to fight two Army Rangers, right? That's it. 25 guys. They were all loaded up with all these AR-15s and every piece of ammunition they could find. And they interviewed them, and they talked about the strategy of how they were going to attack these two guys. And then they interviewed the Ranger, and the Ranger's, what are you going to use? He said, well, I've got this drone, you see, and all I got to do is push this one button, and it fires a Hellfire missile, and that's it, and boom.
Yeah.
And they're all going.
That's
saying.
exactly what Kurt's
You don't
saying.
stand
That's
a chance.
exactly what.
It's a
Exactly.
complete fantasy that you think you can do anything against those trained people with those machines. One
Right.
F-14 could take out every guy living in the woods in Idaho in one day
But here's the thing.
and be back for
It's-
dinner without a scratch.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's my right. It's my, I got to have it because it's written into the Constitution. It's my right. Come on.
It's your
No,
right
I'm
to
It's
not-
have
that
a
I'm
mustache.
not, that's not me
silly
talking. That's not my
It's-
opinion. That's
It's
not
that
right to have a
silly
mustache
comma.
that
That
takes
guy
a
that
minute
the
to
guy that
load.
put it in, they just forgot to put the comma in. Had they would have put a comma in there, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. It
Where would
be-
where would the comma go?
somewhere in the Second Amendment, they said that if they would have put a comma between the well-armed militia, something like that, comma, but they didn't have it in there. So now everybody every wacko can carry as many guns as they want. And going back to Greg's state, you don't even need a permit anymore to carry a concealed weapon. I mean,
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Concealed with no permit? Really?
You don't have to be 18 either.
Free. Yeah.
you don't even have to. You don't even have to take a class. You don't
You
have
don't
to
even
take
have
any.
to
You don't.
be-
You could,
Over 18.
I understand people who want to go ahead and have, concealed, permit. Okay. I accept that, but you got to have training. Know when to shoot, when not to shoot, how to load your gun, how to unload your gun. And now it's free for all. I'm
Wow.
ducking and covering.
Sounds like it's Biff's reality, like in Back to the Future. Remember Biff
Yeah.
in Back to the Future when
Yeah.
he had that,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
strange
That's
reality where everything was going crazy? That's what we're living in.
Yeah.
Well, we're living in a strange reality. I mean, I remember so well when I got my concealed carry permit in the state of Nevada. And I remember my instructor telling me this. He says, the day that you have to use your weapon will be the worst day of your life. You will never have a worse day
Absolutely.
ever. And I remember that. But the responsibility of carrying a concealed weapon was overwhelming to me. It was kind of like you knew that no matter how big the guy was that was going to do you wrong, you had that gun in your pocket that you could just pull out and put him out of his misery. And the power all of a sudden made me so much more mellower and so less confrontational, because I didn't want to get to that point of being confrontational. But without any training, it just seems like, it'll be like an episode of Justified,
No, it's Bonanza.
Yeah. By the way,
It
speaking of
really
Bonanza,
is.
the Bonanza, I hope there's no copyright infringements with that. But I was watching YouTube, and there's actually Johnny Cash actually put words to the Bonanza song. So,
Yep. Yes, he did.
so
He was
it's
an
just-
amazing man,
It's clever.
Jan.
Anyway.
I want to hear Wayne's thought on all this gun stuff in America. What do you think down there?
Oh, it's interesting stuff because I mean, nobody carries guns in Australia. Well,
Yeah, but you carry didgeridoos and
we
didgeridoos,
have
and
that.
those are
Well,
worse.
Some people. do.
That's much worse, man. That's
There's
much
not very-
worse.
There's not very many of those. But the gun thing doesn't make you safe. Obviously, it's just trying to even out the differences. But personally, I think civilians shouldn't have guns. You get angry for some unknown reason, and someone does something that they're going to regret for the whole of their life.
Exactly it, right there in a nutshell, Wayne. You said it.
Yeah, and I just think
about
that,
it this summer. I mean, I'm going to be out on that island, out in the middle of all those people, a lot. And at least if you're a monitor guy, you can jump off stage or hide behind something. But like,
Right.
I'm actually was just talking to one of my clients about whether they're going to have an active shooter protocol, and we're going to have training or not. I know Scoville said he's got a whole first aid kit.
Yep.
for
Yep.
the tournaments.
I mean, they do. They have, clear.
Well,
Yeah,
ever
they
since ever since the Route 66 in, I think it was Route 66, the concert.
Yeah,
in
1 October.
Las
The 1
Vegas.
October. Yeah, 1 October. they call it,
91
right?
in Vegas.
Ken, didn't you have people on that show?
I was at front of house.
Holy shit.
No shit.
Hold it,
That's exactly
You
what I'm
can't just
scared
say, you got to talk about this. You got to say a little bit about it. Well, tell us about it. What was it like? Now's not the
Hello.
time to be muted.
Got to think about it.
I wasn't there. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I gotta believe it was one of the scariest moments of your life. Was it not?
It was one of them. Yes. The thing was I don't do well with blood, and so I was struggling that, but there were people right around because the first sign sounded like somebody had lit up firecrackers just outside the mix tent on the house right side. And it was very high, bright type sound, like a crack. And then it kind of went on and still was playing. And then the next one sounded more of a thud, lower frequency hitting in the crowd, more toward toward the stage, on stage right. I mean, on house right. And it kind of went there. Then finally, when I realized it was shooting, it stopped. And we, at front of house, they waited for a second, thinking of, should I put on the evacuation lights or not put on the evacuation lights?
Holy crap.
Well, the problem with that, and it's funny. I was there. I was there the day before at the Foundation Room in Las Vegas, at Mandalay Bay, which overlooked that parking lot where they had the concert. And I said to myself, man, if anything goes wrong, those people were so crowded in that there's no way that they would be able to get out. Just didn't seem like there was any evacuation route set up so that people could get out if anything went wrong. And then sure enough, the next night, that's what happened.
Shit, I would love to hear more about this, but I gotta run. So, well, thanks,
Anyway.
Ken. Thanks for sharing about that. It's that's had to be devastating. I gotta believe.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're with us. We're glad you're with. Did you get into
Yeah.
a road case or just?
I was behind the drive rack for a minute on the console, and then I slid underneath the riser.
Good, smart man.
And running and kind of wait till everything was down. And then we got out. There was a lot of we had to go out away from, around there, and they had a lot of it shut down. I came home on Monday and I had to fly back Wednesday night. And went into the venue we had to go meet the FBI on Thursday.
Yeah.
And they needed the recordings of all the mics, whatever there, because they were looking at triangulating,
Triangulating, yeah, where the shots were coming from.
well, where they're coming from, and every spot. Okay, there was all the outlines of where bodies were on the field,
Horrible.
and every shot had a marker on it. Every bullet hole had a marker, and they had a tripod surveying
Holy crap.
at every one. They were triangulating every one. They wouldn't they were going to let me go to front of house, and they decided that no, there was too much blood out at front of house on the way to front of house. So I had to do something to get the keys out and what I needed off front of house. The best part is when several FBI people there was one lady who was there was kind of counseling, to make sure we didn't lose it. But the look on the face when one of the guys when the production manager goes, "Did anybody turn off the pyro?"
Yeah.
disarm the pyro, and the look on the guy's face was like, "What pyro?" They hadn't gotten to the pyro.
Right.
Wow.
So we went up and taught them how to disarm pyro. They had shut the power down on Monday night after it sat all day in the sun. So I lost several, module stuff like that to heat on that Monday. But we got the things we needed, got the stuff they needed. I had to get ears out because I flew back Thursday night and handed stuff to the guys, and they flew Friday to New York to do the Saturday Night Live with that cold open.
Wow.
So we had all the stuff they needed for that. And
Well,
then
I tell
2
you
weeks
what,
later they come. What?
Ken, this is extraordinary because being out at front of house, I've been threatened once in Jordan in my professional life. And yeah, I got you. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised, Greg. It's only been one time. But
I did the Fresh Fest back in the 80s. Did the Fresh Fest back in the 80s, and we had a PM 3000 in the 90s and PM 4000. And I remember one night in Oakland, people just kind of running there, shots going on there, and hid behind the console, but it was just like shots in the arena.
Was that downtown?
Ken, I was with.
Was that in downtown Oakland?
Go ahead.
Was that where?
Downtown Oakland.
It was in the arena in Oakland.
The Coliseum?
Yep.
I was there.
Who was?
I was a kid, but I was there. I went to all the Fresh festivals in Oakland.
Then you heard the shooting that night?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Everybody's running outside. We're trying to get to the BART station. I'm like, my dad is going to kill me. I'm not even supposed to be here.
Jan, this is an epic broadcast.
Well, thanks, Greg.
I know Dr.
Yeah.
Don at the Olympics when the bomber hit him, Don Pearson, and he never toured again. He stopped
Wow.
going on the road with the dead and just only did local Bay Area stuff.
Hey, Marco.
Well,
Marco.
I am sorry to hear all that. Wow. Anyway, and kind of like pals when I have to tell you that the Olympics are thinking about putting in pole dance, but we'll have to cover that story next week.
Well, is it pole dancing or pole aerobics or pole ballet?
It's pole dancing. It's pole dancing. Well, I guess we're covering it now. Yeah, pole dancing. They're saying that it's not just for strippers anymore. It's actually, it's really good exercise. It's phenomenal, glorious and entertaining to watch. Plus, they have the silk dancing as well.
Aerials, yep.
Yeah,
Well,
that
that's
all
why it is,
fits
whether
into
it's
that.
aerobics or whether it's ballet or, there is several things in dance tied to it.
Well, that's something I'm going to do more research into. That's right up my alley. I will definitely be looking into this pole dancing business and keeping you guys in the loop on that.
Technically, Cirque du Soleil and Ringling Brothers too both had pole dancing, aerial, hoops and all that stuff.
Yep. Anyway, listen, guys, that's all the stories I had that I wanted to cover. But if there's anything else you guys want to talk about before we say goodbye to those people that are watching, and if you've been watching this long, this has been fascinating and very exciting and controversial as well. And we covered a lot of stuff today, and we'll be covering more next week as well. This is our 153rd meeting, and today is the 26th of April. So anybody else have anything that you want to say before we say goodbye to the general public?
I just want to
Social
say
media.
thank you, Ken, for relaying that. I mean, it had to be awful. I don't know. Yeah. That was a horrible day in Las Vegas, correct, Jan?
It's a horrible day everywhere in the world. It wasn't just it happened in Las Vegas, but it was a horrible day everywhere on the planet. And I mean, when you go to a concert, you're not going there to thinking this is the day I'm going to die. You're going there to think, wow, I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to see my favorite band. I'm going to be drinking beer. I'm going to be, looking at hot chicks. And the girls are going to be looking at hot guys, it's just going to be joyful and fun and t-shirt time and all that other good stuff. You don't expect to go there.
I mean, I got to say to you, Jan, it reminds me of the Olympics in 2008 when some idiot security guy blew up the spotlight tower right
In
next to the
Atlanta?
front of the house.
That's what I was talking about Dr. Don. That was ultrasound, and that was
Yep.
him up front.
Yep. Craig Colburn was tour manager, production manager, and I was working for Craig. So yeah, it was a full Lieber Krebs thing, 2008. Atlanta Olympics. We did it right.
To quote Dirk Schubert right now, what we do is we amplify the healing power of music. That's what we do.
Right.
And when something like this happens, it's really it's more than disturbing on numerous counts. But
Right.
We're going to keep making good music. We're going to keep bringing peace to the planet, and that's what we're going to do. I mean, we are the revolutionary workers of peace, and
Keep on gigging.
music heals the soul. So let's keep doing it, and let's keep coming back, and we'll talk about it more. And with that, I'm going to let everybody go on social media. We've been on way too long, although this has been
Who cares?
fascinating. Yeah, who cares? It's free anyway. What the hell? You know, you're not paying for it, so, enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts. Anyway,
Ken,
we'll stay in
thank
the room
you.
and talk. Just remember, you make it happen. If subscribe, click the like button, do all that good stuff that we want you to do. Join the panel. Just DM me or anyone in the room that you know, and they'll send you an invitation as well. So with that in mind, remember, you make it happen. Stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you again next week. And with that, we are off the air.